If I can have everybody's attention here in the Media Center, welcome to Pocono Raceway. And we are going to start off the morning with Jimmie Johnson, driver of the number 48 Lowe's Jimmie Johnson Foundation Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. And, you know, big week for you last week, your 10th win at Dover. Big week for you this week because you have the Blue Bunny Helmet of Hope campaign kicking off. That's, you know, you've got a lot going on in your plate. Right?
We really do, and it's great timing. I mean, especially coming off of a big win last week, coming to a great track for myself and our Lowe's team. And you know, just a quick shout out to Lowe's and the sincere thank you that they let us have a paint scheme every year and build awareness and build a program around the giving that the Jimmie Johnson Foundation does. The Blue Bunny Helmet of Hope program is a very important part of that. I know that you all are aware of it, but to be able to donate $25,000 and raise this national awareness for these small charities, something we take a lot of pride in. And in 8 years, we've given out over $800,000 to these small charities. And then the submissions this year, I think there were 750, and then we had over 2.2 million votes to deem our 5 winners. So the success of the program is continuing to grow leaps and bounds every year, and a large part of that's due to what we can do on a Sunday with the Jimmie Johnson Foundation on the side of the race car. So many thanks to Lowe's for that.
Yeah, that's a great program. It's helped a lot of folks. We're going to open up the floor now to questions. If you can raise your hand, we'll get a wireless mic to you and just state your name and affiliation. We'll start here at the gentleman in the red.
Zach Sturniel with the Pocono Record. Obviously, Hendrick Motorsports comes in here, 17 wins overall here, each of the last 5. How likely is it, do you think, that streak can continue this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's pretty high. I mean, this has been a great track. When I think of all 4 Hendrick cars, we've all had speed here over the years. Clearly, Junior dominated swept both races last year. Had a very strong car in both events, and my memory is saying that we were very strong ourselves. So you do that, and then look outside of the Hendrick box and look at our SHR relationship and some fast cars over there too. So I think Hendrick Chassis and Power will be pacing the field through a large part of the weekend.
We're going to go next to Zach in the back, then over here to Zach, then to Bob, and then to Mike.
Hey, Jimmy. Zach Albert, NASCAR.com. Last week put you just another step closer to Dale Earnhardt Sr. on the all-time win list. Not trying to get too far ahead of things, but have you given some thought to what that means in terms of your place in the sport and the historical significance of it?
Not really to my place in the sport. It's still two away from us, and I certainly hope to have that opportunity to tie them. And then the competitor in me, of course, would like to move past that and chase down the next guy. But I remember and had the great fortune, like everybody here, to watch Jeff Gordon tie that monumental record. So I know how much it meant to Jeff. I unfortunately never had a chance to race against Dale. Definitely there's a void there in my mind and in my career that I didn't have that opportunity. I did meet him a couple times, and he did a fantastic job of intimidating me and scaring it out of me in both of those instances. So I if it does happen, of course, want to handle it in the right way, pay tribute to Dale, what he's done for our sport, the true badass he was in our sport. And if and when that does happen, it will be an honor to be there in that status with him.
Third Zach here. Zach at Ready Women's Racing. A lot of drivers compare Pocono to a road course because of the 3 different turns. They also compare it to Indianapolis. But do you compare with a road course? Do you see that comparison?
It's hard to say there's a direct comparison to either of the 2 tracks, but skills required of a road course need to be in your bag here. Same thing with Indy. The way you road course race here has changed, especially with the parameters we have on our transmission ratios. It's not a comfortable thing to do, and you have the option to not shift. So it helps. I think there's some drivers just wired to be in that uncomfortable mindset and willing to abuse the training, abuse the engine around here to put up a lap. I think it's awesome. I love it. I love that option and opportunity. The Indy correlation, I think the tunnel turn is probably the closest to that. But there's been years where we can say from the 48 side that, yes, what we did at Pocono carried over. I can't say that's been the case lately. I think with the previous generation of car and rules package, there was more of a comparison of the two or parallel to the two. But of late, we've been a little different than in a few generations ago.
Go to Bob, then the Mike, and then back to MRN.
Bob Pockers, ESPN. When there's talk about shortening races, Pocono is kind of the example that people point to as maybe improving the race by shortening it. How did the dynamics change in this race when it was shortened, and do you feel that would correlate to other tracks, or is it just mostly unique to Pocono?
I didn't think that it changed the race. I think it just worked better for the viewing audience and the attention span of today's world. Just put it into a smaller window of time, and that just seems to be the way the world works anymore. It's still a long race, very grueling race on the equipment, and then the fuel mileage thing. Even though they shortened it 100, just the way that the cars consume fuel and the way our pit patterns work, it still has the same feel and flow. In my opinion, it's just a shorter race.
Seth Livingstone, NASCAR News Service. Jimmie, you swept here in 2004, then went about a decade till you won here again. Junior's in that situation this year. What's it like to have great success, sweep at a track, and then knowing that you can get the job done and yet not see victory lane for a decade? What does Junior face in terms of any kind of challenge trying to continue his success here?
Yeah, I kind of put sweeping here into the same box of sweeping at Daytona or Talladega. There are just so many circumstances out of your control at this track, and those lead to the difficulty in winning often and sweeping for that matter. This race, there always is long green flag runs and varying strategies. The teams that don't have the raw speed to race for the win roll the dice. They usually catch cautions. You lose track position. Track position is so important. There's a lot of moving targets. It's not just a straight up downforce style race. And I think that just increases the degree of difficulty to win here and to win here regularly.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. Speaking of race changes, there was some talk early in the year about schedule changes. Harvick mentioned going other places, maybe cutting some races at tracks. Other than racing maybe 4 or 5 times at Dover, what kind of changes? what kind of changes would you like to see?
4 or 5 times at Martinsville. No, I don't have the. I don't think one person has the answer if it's on the NASCAR side, driver side, team side, but I think we need to look at all options. And as a group collectively make a decision, and then also identify, what is the time span that people want to be entertained for. Why are we going to multiple tracks or tracks multiple times? Is it worth it? Is it better to have one race? And then the racing itself. What is good racing? Is it the field real close together, or is it multiple lead changes? Because I think that's a different world to create that. So trying to identify, obviously, with what is popular is the name of our game, and trying to appeal to the masses and have viewership. But I'm excited where things are going. I feel that drivers having a seat at the table, the owners having a seat at the table. I think meetings that are taking place are very helpful, and I look forward to more group decisions and literally having tire company, NASCAR, team owners, and drivers together trying to make smart decisions all together as a group. And it's heading that way, and I think we're on the right path for sure. And I know that race format is a big part of it. I think it's an area that we haven't really touched yet, and I'm open to it. I also feel that a single race at some venues and shortening the schedule, there's some merit to that in my mind as well.
Jimmie, Rich Culberth with the Motor Racing Network. Looking to next week at Michigan, we've got a new rules package this year. The surface has aged a few years. What kind of racing? Quick preview of next week's Michigan race.
I think it's going to be fast with this rules package. I know there was some testing done to help put this package in play. And those notes, and I think the 5 car was there for us, man, they ran a lot of throttle. And the more throttle you run, I think the narrower the groove gets. I'm hopeful that I'm wrong, and I'm hopeful that the tough winters and tough summers up there have aged the track dramatically, and we're able to fan back out like we've seen, with the old surface at Michigan. But I feel like they just do a great job of repaving these tracks anymore, and we probably won't be there. So there'll be a lot of throttle. Track position will be very important, but the speeds are going to be really, really high.
Okay, we go to Alan, and up here to Jim, and then over to Bill.
Alan Cavana, Fox Sports. You alluded to it a little bit. I think you clarified some of your thoughts on it on Twitter yesterday. But the Drivers' Council meeting, were you able to talk to anybody who was at that meeting and learn what they talked about? Did you like what you heard? Just your thoughts on it.
Yeah, certainly on Monday and Tuesday there was some correspondence that looped all the drivers in, and I was aware of a meeting that took place. So I just wanted to clarify, I guess on Twitter, that when the question was asked to me, there wasn't any correspondence. I knew that I placed a vote, and that happened. I was never told that I was out, and I didn't know that there was a meeting taking place that Saturday night. So when I made my comments, I was in the heat of the moment of winning and having a couple beers and enjoying, what was all going on, and made a comment. And when I walked out of the media center, I'm like, you know what, I bet you that's the Drivers' Council meeting. So I just wanted to clarify, because I truly believe in the council. I'm very happy with the election process and the consideration that's gone into representing teams from each kind of bracket, if you will, on the points order of the garage area, so that everybody has a voice. So I'm very happy with it, and I didn't want to undermine or take away from what that group is doing. I just didn't know it had happened. So I think there's some communications that need to improve amongst the group there, and I won't make that comment. So
Go to Jim.
Jim Uttershaw, Observer. The answer to this question you may have touched on a little bit already, but if you had been on the council or whatever, is there an issue to you that is most important right now that you think should be addressed? There's been a lot of talk about the possible delay in the aerodynamic package. Some people are talking about schedule length. Is there one overriding issue that you really think is important?
Yeah, the Drivers' Council is really focused on rules and being a helpful hand and decisions made there in safety. And it's hard to say which one's a priority. I think leaving Daytona and Kyle's incident in the Xfinity race, safety was probably the highest priority, and it still always is. But the rules package is a hot topic, and I feel like we're in an environment right now where there's going to be more change, and trying to make the right decisions is important. And I feel that the drivers, we're living it inside the car, and I know there's a lot of simulation and technology out there to kind of say what will happen, but we just want to make sure our voice is heard, and that the people that make the decisions know what's really going on in the car and what we're thinking and how we're faced with challenges. So I guess in today's world right now, it's the rules package is the priority from the Drivers' Council.
We'll wrap it up here with Bill.
Bill Fleischman, Philly Daily News. With 4 wins, is this you're able to take more chances now? Like I think at the end of Dover race, are you more relaxed? I know you're still trying to win every race, but could you just talk about that?
Yeah, it's hard to be relaxed with Knaus as your crew chief, but we're trying to. We say that at times that we're relaxed. Race day has been far more relaxed than Fridays in qualifying. Just to be honest with you guys. But sure, absolutely, we're taking chances and staying out on 50-lap tires at the end of a race at Dover. It took some selling on Chad's behalf to get me to believe. And after the first restart, I knew that we were in good shape, but we're definitely taking chances. And the way things unfold here, and it's usually some kind of fuel strategy, this puts us in a great position to swing for the fences again.
Jimmy, really appreciate you taking the time today, and good luck
Thank you,
this
everybody.
weekend.